like you should be mindful of while planning your orientation. And then we're going to do some campus examples and hopefully get some sharing from you guys, maybe things that you've done in your past for orientation or your current structure now. And then we're going to show some templates that you can use and then just other resources that are available and orientation opportunities. So for some introductions, I guess we can go down and give maybe your name and then the campus that you're representing.
So whoever would like to start, you can just like unmute yourself and raise your hands. Okay, so does Guilford, there you go. Okay, let's start with you.
Hello everyone. My name is James Shields. I'm director of the Bonner Center here at Guilford College.
Hi everyone, my name is Danny and I am the summer intern for the Bonner program and of course Guilford.
My name is Marimar and I'm a business unit intern.
Cool. So we have Hannah. Would you like to introduce yourself? Hi.
Hi. Hi. Sorry, I can't hear you guys that well.
Oh, you're fine.
But are we introducing ourselves?
Yes.
Hannah. Yes. Okay. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if there's something wrong with my audio.
All right. Well, if anything, we can just kind of go down like the list. And so we have Morgan Riley here. We have
Hi.
Shannon.
Hi.
Hi. We have Adam.
Hi.
Hello. We have someone from the Bonner Foundation joining us too. Elvis is in the other room. We have Emily. We have Jamie. Giovanni.
Hi.
Hi. We have Juan Carlos. We have Rachel, and I think that's pretty. And we have Ashley.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. All right. Awesome, y'all. So, sorry the introductions are a little too kind of difficult to do, but we will just keep going. So,
what is orientation? Orientation is kind of an important aspect of someone's Bonner experience because it's providing the opportunities for the Bonners to establish their identities with the Bonner program and to kind of gain exposure to the Bonner community and the community around them, and just learning crucial aspects of the Bonner program, such as missions, values, the logistics, and just other kinds of requirements. So,
yeah. And so this is just kind of like a really cool graphic to show you. Can everyone see it? Is everything good? Okay, cool. So these are the fundamental components of a good orientation for your Bonner program. So among that, there are 6 key elements. So the first one that a lot of us are probably really good at is the community building portion. That's where you provide that welcoming and support building center and environment for everyone new that's coming in or just like returning Bonners. You have Bonner, the big picture, where you establish the spirit of your program and of the national network so that everybody understands what exactly it means to be a Bonner. You also have your goals and expectations. So those are a lot of the program logistical things, the requirements that you have to meet, the hour logs, the rules that are specific to your center, all of that good stuff. And then you have those elements of getting to know your college. So how the structural system works with your Center for Civic Engagement or Center for Service or the Service Learning. Those kinds of structural things, the professional staff at an institution are the people that you want your students to know so that they're familiar with the resources that they have among them. So it's just essential Bonner campus knowledge. You also want your students to understand and know their local community that they'll be serving. So that means getting some research about the demographics, just key locations in town where they can kind of go and immerse themselves within the community, the different community partners and their missions of the organization or the organizations in the community that really help to uplift the surrounding areas. And so then you have that key, very Bonner self-reflection type thing. So getting to know yourself, getting to know others, and having this personal exploration element to your orientation. So with that being said, some further details of orientation necessities.
We're gonna talk about the orientation necessities and like basically some of the things you should just know is like you should have a brief orientation to the campus national Bonner program and like the network where that fits in with like the service movement in America and like national invitations and transformational like model and its like future missions and the philosophy of like the program. Just going over like logistics about the program requirements, like Jasmine said, hours, fund allocations, probation details if there is any, rules of conduct, Bonner Webbers, and like reporting structure and other things like etc. Some team and community building opportunities to let Bonner students develop their relationships, personal and cultural awareness, and activities for self-reflection on personal identity and introducing them to that diverse community and diversity in general in case some people have not been exposed to it. And then orientations to the campus and structures like key school staff and like program mission and the philosophy of the program, the achievements and what are the goals for the future and other things like that. The orientation surrounding the community partners, so maybe doing like a scavenger hunt to introduce them to the community, like partners and like the Bonner sites, and maybe you can do like an introduction to like demographics and assets. And these are just things that are like kind of necessities for what you should have in your Bonner program and like specific prevalent like issues facing your community and just other opportunities for like personal reflection and like what are their personal goals and aspirations to commit to, and then the college transition support. So especially crucial for the first year Bonner scholars. So giving them like tours of the campus and administration's introductions, and then workshops or skill training and time management and study skills will be very helpful, especially for incoming Bonners that are maybe not used to certain study skills or like being able to do time management and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So the next portion of this is going to be some orientation examples in terms of those 6 key elements that we were talking about. And so some community building aspects at the University of Rutgers at Camden, they have this cards promoting humanity game that they created themselves. It's super tailored to their own Bonner programming campus. Here, I'm going to show you that right quick. So it's just like this. They probably made it just in any publications thing, but as you can see, there's a lot of things here that like B. Weber's is on here. They have a lot of things that are just really tailored to their own program culture and their local community. So that's a fun little thing to do. You can also, they have these get to know you welcome activities. So find someone who did so-and-so, or find someone else who did so-and-so, and what people's preferences are. So just kind of really fun things to get to know other people that they might not have known before, or just kind of build those relationships. Maryville College has meal times together with their entire Bonner program. They also have bowling nights. Barry has a lot of really cool icebreakers. We have meal teams so that people can kind of work together, and we also have a game night. Sienna does a lot of icebreakers, and they also have various social activities out and about in town. So within that, does anyone have an example of what they do on their campus for in terms of community building? Like 3 people to share. So if you'd like to like raise your hand and share, that would be awesome. Anyone? Let's see. Cool. Does anyone want to share their community building activities? Let's see. Okay. If not, we can go on.
I will.
Okay. Hello? Hi, Jamie.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
At UT, we do. Sorry. At UT, we actually go to an escape room as a part of our orientation.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. How does that work out?
Yeah. It works out really well. So you work together as a team, and you have the senior interns and the head of our program there with all of our freshmen, so they get to build a good cohort within themselves.
Oh, nice. Does anyone else have another thing that they'd like to share? Thanks, Jamie. Anyone else? Okay, so we will go ahead and move on to our next one. So Bonner big picture and expectations. A couple of these, let's see. Zoom out of this. Okay. So Maryville just kind of keeps it straight and simple, looks at their logistics, their handbooks and rules, and does some B-Weber's training. And that's pretty consistent across the board. Everyone kind of has to go through those logistical trainings. But at Berry, there's program overview presentations with reflection activities involved in there. So we ask students, what's your definition of service? How does it apply to the Bonner program? How do you see it applying to the Bonner program? And we have a creative little activity around the common commitments where we assign teams a specific common commitment, and then they can make like a rap or song that kind of portrays what they feel like is the essence of that common commitment. At Siena, they have program time, which are like sessions for different cohorts and all that stuff. But another thing that you do have at your disposal is the history video on Bonner. You can just really just go to bonner.org and then you'll find the history video there if you're looking for a quick way to give like the big picture and overview of the Bonner program. So next one, so getting to know your college and your community. That's super essential for your students to understand the community that they're serving. So at the University of Rutgers in Camden, they do just an annual review of service partners, which is really good to give students the opportunity to learn who is available to serve with and what opportunities are around them. At Maryville, they have a bike tour of their community, which is pretty cool. I personally like to go on a bike tour, but they also have service components to their orientation, which is probably a really immersive experience for students to have as soon as they are exposed to the Bonner program. At Berry, they do a town scavenger hunt, so they kind of just let the students roam free and go about the town and learn about the key aspects of, or key cornerstone places in the Rome community. They also have campus tours, but they, in terms of community partners, there's community partner tours and another brunch to finish off the tour so that the students are familiar with all of the different initiatives going on in the community. At Siena, there's also, they have large service projects as well. And they have some free time around in the evening so that they can kind of roam around and get to explore the surrounding area themselves. So does anyone have any like really creative ways that they get to know your college and your community? Anyone? Okay. Going once, going twice. But all right, so.
Hey,
Yes.
Well, I was going to just add, yeah, we one of the things that we do a what we call a social justice tour of Greensboro that includes some of our service sites, but also includes a lot of the different sites in Greensboro connected to social justice. Course
Mm-hmm.
in Greensboro, where several other social justice things that have happened in Greensboro. So we want to give them a taste of some of the social justice aspects of Greensboro. We also go to different places where, for example, the food deserts in Greensboro, we want them to see, because this is where we do our service. And so we want them to see the disparity of housing, for example, and we drive through the $1 million home over, and we see where immigrants and refugees live, you know, in some of the apartments and homes that aren't that are substandard. So that's one of the things we do in terms of getting to know Greensboro. As far as campus, we already know that they're going to get, you know, the tour and things like that of the campus. But one of the things that we also do is we take our students out to our woods over in the Guilford College woods, where the Underground Railroad happened. And so we tell them the story about the Underground Railroad, and we connected.
Something that we haven't done in the past, but that we're exploring this upcoming year at Stetson, is to have a community engagement leadership position.
Okay.
And they're in charge of constructing a community calendar and organizing trips to different like festivals, like school board meetings, town halls, to get people more involved with the community and understanding of what's going on outside campus.
Okay, awesome, cool. Okay, thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing Guilford too. So does anyone else want to add in one last way that your campus kind of creatively gets to know your college and or your community? We can take one more if you'd like to share. If not, we can keep going. Okay, so the next element, getting to know yourself and others. So this is where you have a lot of creative range within your orientation schedule and planning. The University of Rutgers at Camden, they have this session where they kind of discover what everyone's passions are and really delve into that self-reflection about what drives you as a person and what drives your service. They also have a really cool goal setting activity that's really essential for the beginning part of this academic year to ensure that your students have some success and they kind of are getting to know the skill set of goal setting and kind of what are the steps that I can get there. Marable College does, they conduct the Leadership Compass activity, and so that's really good because a lot of us would really like to make sure that we give our students those leadership skills that they want to possess. At Berry, they have river stories and or identity circles. It changes throughout the year, but it really kind of gives students a time to have that self-reflection portion of the orientation where they learn where they come from, who they are, and how that drives the rest of their Bonner experience. At Siena, they also have like reflection sessions, but they do the social justice training workshops. And so that's kind of that getting to know others element of it. So you can definitely get creative with this and see what you want your students to know and how you can kind of help them get there. So does anyone have any input or like some ideas that you'd like to throw out there to the rest of the Bonner network here about what your campus does to kind of have that self-reflection portion of themselves or of other people? Anyone want to share? So everyone does orientation super differently, and so we wanted to kind of utilize this as a way to bounce ideas off of each other. So you have any opinions?
I have a question.
Yes.
So I'm Ashley. You can't see me because my camera hates me. Hello. I was just curious. Hey, Adam. I was just curious about your goal setting activity because we're interested in having goal setting for both our leadership orientation and new Bonner orientation. We just haven't gotten around to formulating that. So
Okay.
what does that look like?
With the example that we got, we weren't given too much details of it, but I can definitely follow up with you to see how much that would.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I'll definitely follow up with you and give you more details on that, because it's super essential too. I know within my experience as a senior intern last year, I knew that goal setting was essential to keeping everyone focused for the year. So I'll get that to you. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, thank you.
Does anyone else want to share their campus initiatives on getting to know, like doing self-reflection and everything like that?
Yeah, I'm Shannon from Center College Bonner program, and this year we're giving all of our Bonners like journals during the fall retreat, and we're going to use them throughout that time, and then have them do a reflection portion of it at every meeting throughout the fall semester and see how that goes.
Very cool. Very cool. Awesome. Thank you. And then we have time for maybe one more person to share about what they'd like to, or what they do on their campus. Let's see. Okay. So we're gonna get to go on the next slide. Does anyone kind of want to give us maybe a quick overview of what orientation looks like on your campus? Because the length varies, the activities vary, who you invite to participate varies. So you can kind of just use this time to share amongst everyone. Anyone? Okay. Let's see. Does anyone have any questions so far about everything? Okay. Cool. So just some things to kind of be mindful of while you're planning orientation. You need to make sure that you're kind of taking into consideration the logistical time constraints that you're giving yourself. And so I know that's kind of, all of these are super given, but when you're in the zone of planning your orientation, it's really easy to overlook all of these elements that could potentially hinder the effectiveness of your program. So scheduling, make sure that you give the activities that you want to have enough time to execute, enough time to do so. So make sure that you leave yourself some extra time or some extra room or some backup activities, anything like that. Make sure you know what your fiscal constraints are. So get a budget before you start and kind of make sure that you're taking all of the elements of your orientation into consideration when it comes to your pocket. If you are doing anything that's off campus, or if you need to kind of make sure that all of your freshman Bonner students or returning students are in earlier, make sure that you talk to Res Live and get those housing accommodations taken care of, or any travel arrangements that you need to make sure that you can make, or at least meet people halfway with making. Food is essential. And you can't forget to kind of plan meals and take into consideration snack times or water. Make sure that you're able to provide all of that, and that goes into your budget. So it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of number crunching and just kind of critical thinking, but I know you can do it. And then if you need to, or if it's required, any paperwork needed. So that's like waivers if you're taking anyone off campus, or if you're doing any activities that are a little physically constraining, anything like that, just kind of make sure that you think through all of those elements. Yeah, and so, okay, so these templates that we used, like I said, everything is kind of on the Bonner Wiki, ready for you to use. Can everyone see this? Is it good? Okay, cool. So you kind of want to look through this and before you start planning your orientation. It gives you everything that we're kind of talking about today in a little bit more detail. So you can go through the overview, but we also have guides to planning orientation. So every one of those key elements that I was talking about, there are details under this page for what these activities are trying to get at and what you can do with them. And then we have campus examples. So we have Sienna's entire agenda for their orientation. And we also have what Christopher Newport University does for their students, and they kind of do some really cool things. And so if you'd like any more campus examples, just reach out to the foundation and we can get those to you. The last element that's key when doing all of this is these documents to download. There is a planning guide that you can sort through and look through that kind of give you all the step-by-step directions in planning your orientation. But then there's also this orientation worksheet where you can brainstorm all of the elements that you'd like to, make several rough drafts of your agenda, or kind of brainstorm all the activities that you'd like to do. So they're super key, and they're really easy to work with and manageable, and I think they would really help. And like I said, all of these resources that we're going from today to, so this presentation, this webinar will be available afterwards on the wiki too. So no minds there. Let's see. And then we also have, okay. And then shameless plug.
So a shameless plug, we have orientation opportunities. You can actually take over the Bonner Snapchat, where several campuses have already applied to take over the Snapchat for orientation, but the Snapchat is not just for orientation. You can take over the Bonner Snapchat if you're doing a overnight retreat, or if you're doing a first year trip, or maybe one of your Bonner students are doing a summer away at a really cool place. So this is a good opportunity to see other schools and what they do for their orientation, but also an opportunity for you to show your school and just give us a little tour of what you guys do. So the Snapchat is a very cool way to just engage with other campuses. So.
And it's really fun. It's been a lot of fun to be able to kind of see all these Snapchats. I hope everyone has been enjoying the Snapchat takeover so far this summer. But yeah, so just a little reminder, if you need any help throughout the year or in the following weeks while orientation is the big event to plan for campuses, remember just to contact the Bonner Foundation for any questions you may have or any further support you may need. Don't be afraid to just shoot anyone an email here. So yeah, does anyone have any questions? So we threw a lot of information at you. We want to make sure that you are set and feel good about orientation. Let's see. We have one chat. Let's see. Okay, how are you? Does anyone have any questions? You guys can use the group chat and we can go from there. If you don't want to speak. Any questions whatsoever? Okay. All right. So, does anyone have any final remarks or thoughts to leave us with before we kind of close out? No? Is everyone good? All right. Well, we hope that this was helpful for everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Like I said, we're going to put all of this up on the wiki so that for future references or anything like that. And I will make sure to get, if you come up with anything later and if you want to know like let's say what Maribel does for their bike tour or something, just shoot me an email or Asia. My email is jasmine@bonner.org. So it's JSMINE@bonner.org. And then
my email is asia@bonner.org. ASIA, like the continent. So it's not too extravagant.
Yeah. But so I will get those resources out to you, especially Ashley. I will definitely make sure that I can get that out to you. But if you have any further questions, like I said, don't be afraid to email us or anything like that. But we're so thankful that you guys came and attended our little webinar. It was a lot of fun to put together for everyone. So we hope you have a great rest of your Thursday. So keep up the good work. Bye.